Hello, lovely ones. Surprise! Dr. Lucy this morning. Dr. Mary has a medical appointment, so this is the benefit of having a partnership, is that one other person can jump in if needed. So this morning, I'm going to put my doctor hat on and talk some doctory things. So just press that. So doctor hat on, talking some doctory things. Hello, Perry. How are you? I can see, Miss Helena, I can see who's watching. So the doctory thing I want to talk to you today about is hypertension. So hypertension is high blood pressure. Hypotension is low blood pressure. Hypertension is extremely common in our society, good morning Bern, and is actually defined technically as anything above sort of 130 on 80 or 85, depending on which criteria you're looking at. So we really don't like it when blood pressure is higher, and the reason for that is that over time it causes other diseases to our organs. So remember that everything is a cumulative effect. There are some things in medicine that we call acute medicine, so that the thing right at that time is urgent and needs to be treated. But for a lot of our conditions, a lot of the risk factors, they're chronic. As in chronic, remember chronic is chronicity, so it's a time thing. Hey Linda, it's not a severity thing. So when we talk about something being chronic, we mean it's there for a long time. So a lot of our risk factors for chronic disease are the things that we're often talking about, so hypertension, high blood pressure, high cholesterol in certain circumstances, high sugars. These are the things that then go on to cause diseases in our organs, because at the end of the day, it's all about your organs. As a human, when our organs fail us, that's when we get sick. So in our brain, it's when, if we get, dementia is a brain disorder. Cardiac disease is a heart disorder. We have liver disease, kidney disease. All of those things need then intense management. So what we talk about then a lot is risk factors. Hypertension is a risk factor for many things. It's a risk factor for eye disease, for heart disease, for kidney disease. I'm just pressing that little button on my phone because it's come up. And so we really want to manage it. Now, what are the causes of hypertension? This is the thing. A lot of the time we can manage it, certainly with a medication, but the causes. So the current in 2021, the most common cause of hypertension is high insulin. So insulin is a stiffening hormone, if you like. It stiffens our arteries. And so you can fix that by reducing your insulin. The other things that cause hypertension, now there is one collection of people that used to be our dominant cause of hypertension, and it was called essential hypertension, which is a stupid name. What it just meant is really sort of genetic, family-orientated hypertension. Okay, so that, even if somebody had no other risk factors, there was a strong family history and they would get high blood pressure. But those cohort of people have been overtaken, if you like, by the insulin thing, because unfortunately insulin resistance is so prevalent in our society. So the other things that will contribute also to hypertension, smoking, and smoking is its own individual risk factor for eye, brain, heart, kidney disease. Sedentaries, I was about to call it sedation, that's not what I'm talking about, but a sedentary lifestyle, again, because we know that exercise in itself can reduce blood pressure, also a lovely thing to do to prevent disease in certainly your heart and lungs. But just getting back to our kind of, base that we love talking about, it is all about the insulin. So the two biggest risk factors that I would look at in hypertension is I always check smoking. I always check that anyway, but then insulin. And then we talk about, well, what are we going to do about this insulin? Because there's no magic insulin tablet. So, well, there actually is slightly. I'll talk about that in a minute. The two, insulin resistance or hyperinsulinemia, like lots of things, there's no one single cause. Okay, we love to have one thing, but it's actually multifactorial. So the things that cause it are, again, a genetic predisposition. Okay, so if you have family that have type 2 diabetes or polycystic ovarian syndrome, then you are more likely to have that predisposition to developing insulin resistance. We know that, so, if you take that in, but the multifactorial causes of insulin resistance, certainly excessive carbohydrate intake, poor sleep, stress, interestingly, and that's a whole separate, and people undermine the guy, yeah, stress, whatever. Stress, make no mistake, stress will put your insulin up. Strength training. If you have bigger muscle mass, you have less insulin resistance. This is my issue with insulin resistance, because as you know, I've got muscular dystrophy. I have small muscles, they're wasting, and therefore my insulin is, my body is more resistant to insulin. So strength training is super important. And then the final thing that we will use sometimes is a medication called metformin. Metformin is really one of our medications that is very useful. I mean, as a doctor, I'm a lifestyle medicine physician. You all know that. I try to reduce the amount of medications that I use. It doesn't mean I'm anti-medication. I can tell you now, if there was a tablet that I could take for muscular dystrophy, I would be taking it. But I think what happens in our society is that there is some overprescription of medications, and also it is quicker to write a script than to talk to somebody like I'm doing to you now about all the causes of your high blood pressure. And certainly there are times where, despite doing all the things, somebody still has high blood pressure, and we want to treat that to, again, save their eyes, their brain, their heart, their lungs, their kidneys. So most definitely you can address hypertension with lifestyle things, sleeping well, eating low carb, doing some strength training, learning to manage your mind for your stress, making sure you rest enough, but not too much. Lovelies, that's it for me today. I am off to work again. Have another big day, but that's okay. I'm taking 4 days off clinical practice next week. I'm quite excited about that because I really want to work a little bit more on real life medicine and just, giving to my community. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, darlings, and I will see you. Actually, Mary will be back tomorrow, so she'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye, lovelies.